Hey everybody, just a quick message from Bald and Bonkers Network. We would like to remind everybody that certain topics of discussion may not be comfortable for all listeners. Certain viewpoints may not reflect those of our partners, sponsors, affiliates, our hosts, or that of our guests. We would like to encourage everybody to keep a respectful and open climate of discussion for all topics, no matter how disturbing they may be. So viewer discretion is advised.
Discoveries mankind has ever experienced. And that is why we bring you the Bald and Bonkers Show. Maybe you can get on my boat and make it rock, yeah. What the?
Oh, see that bloody, see you in that bloody text thing. I was sharing us out, and look what he's done. Look what he's done. You change that back here. You can't.
Well, fine. You stay on the bottom where you belong.
I think change my name back because I'm like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I can't reach. I've got wee arms of it. I've got to move my mic every time.
Well, it's not my fault. You like sticking things down your mouth.
Well, Ken, this. Everybody, if you want to sign up to be my new co-host, please message me at Bald and Bonkers, please. Yeah. So, how is everybody tonight, guys? We have got an amazing show. We are joined tonight by none other than Drew Ellingsworth, the man himself.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Cool.
About that old, so.
But we're also joined by Dakota, the man, the legend, and the many stories that people say about him.
Hey, that is not my fault. The angry husbands had it coming.
So, Dakota, what's the subject tonight? What's the crazy Sunday subject that we've got tonight?
Well, initially we were going to talk about some of the spooky things that are going on in the world, but we had to pull that out since we had a guest oversleep on us yesterday.
Yeah, it's terrible. Terrible.
Let's go into something else that's going to be a big thing for a lot of circles right now. The Large Hadron Collider and all these conspiracies saying that it triggers the Mandela effect.
Yes. I mean, for people out there that do not know what the Large Hadron Collider is, ladies and gentlemen, I have prepared a couple of clips, and so has Dakota. But we will get to them soon, right? Were you checking for hair there in case the Mandela effects changed and gave you like an afro or something like that?
Wait a second, I'm actually feeling hair right here. What the hell?
If a butterfly flaps his wings in Switzerland, Dakota grows hair on his ass.
Aye. So, ladies and gentlemen, people in the podcast, this is what the Hadron Collider looks like. But obviously, the people in the podcast, you'll have to check out the videos to see it. Head over to Bald and Bonkers and check out our TV network where you will be able to see this.
You can see it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. We're now on Rumble.
Look at that. Now that, ladies and
gentlemen. Look at that big butt plug.
I mean, look at that. I mean, honestly, look at the time and effort. That's just one tiny section of the Hadron Collider. That's I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's the
miles
bit where the
long.
compact. That's the bit where the compact, the molecules or whatever it is. I don't have a clue what I'm talking about, but it's like talking about the molecules. But here's an interesting one. Look at each one of those. I did look this up. Though each one of those copper plates behind that is a magnet to squeeze the protons away down to the very fine. I mean, that's. What's your thoughts on this, Dakota? What's your thoughts on this?
It's nowhere near as interesting as people try to say it is, unless you're really into particle physics.
That's very true. And let's face it, how many people are into particle physics? That's where we switch to Drew Zellingsworth. Now, Drew, what do you know about particle physics?
I don't know a lot about particle physics. I know a lot of the stories and the rumors and all the underground blah, blah, blah about the Hadron Collider. The fact that if two molecules accidentally collide, it can cause twin black holes at both of our poles. And, then another person says that it'll automatically cause a black hole to form instantaneous. It'll grow out of control there at the collider. It's been running now for what? 3 days, 4 days? We've not died yet. So,
well, that's the thing, But Dakota, what's your thoughts, my friend? You're the man.
Well, first off, not a lot of people actually realize, well, that was a big orb.
I know.
That these Hadron Colliders, they make black holes all the time. Small ones. They usually evaporate.
Yeah.
They don't last very long, and if they go to start growing out of control, well, nothing's going to matter anymore because we're all going to turn into long strings of spaghetti.
See, right, that's the thing, right? I mean, somebody thinks, right, they all think that they could create a black hole and the Earth would be sucked into it along with the galaxy and everything else, right? Right? I think what they've been doing in the past, I think they've messed up reality. And this is where we come to the subject, the Mandela effect. And I think Dakota knows quite a lot about this. I don't actually know that much about it, but I know this man here, the man himself, is quite into it.
Well, majority of what we're talking about is actually theoretical. Would be very difficult to prove from a three-dimensional standpoint without physical evidence. Now, we're going to get into this discussion as I was going to try to explain to this one before the show, but you know how he is. There may, in fact, be evidence of something going on. But another thing a lot of people don't know is that there is actually, if I remember correctly, it's called the quantum death theory. That essentially, anytime you're in a near-death experience scenario, you actually did die, but your consciousness transfers over to yet another reality where you survived that incident. That's where some speculate the feeling of deja vu, the psychic impulse that something's about to go wrong, things like that.
So in theory, then if that was the case, you would never really die.
Exactly.
You would live forever. But then obviously you'd get old. What happens when you get old? You must die.
Really goes into that. It never really goes into that.
I mean, but think about it. Yeah, it's going to. Right. I die when I'm 30, so I come back. I die when I'm 40, I come back. But there's only a limit to that. You can only live for so long. So I die when I'm 100.
But the question is, the thing you have to ask yourself is, if temporal dynamics plays into an effect, does time even matter? Will you age? Or will you stay the age you are indefinitely? Or will you age at a much slower rate than what you age now if temporal dynamics plays into an effect?
That's actually quite interesting. Because
Drew is not the idiot people thought he was.
Oh my God, he's the professor. I'm going to call you the naughty professor from now on, Drew. Well, that's actually a good point, because in theory, if there's infinite worlds, infinite Earths, right? Right, and you die when you're 60, you could, in theory, be put into the body of a 30-year-old then.
In theory.
So, but then how do you have a near-death experience where people say, oh, I see my family, and I see beautiful cities, and I see this and I see that, and the angel comes to me and tells me this and that, and I have to go back again? How do you explain that? If that's not tied into it.
Here's a thought. Going back to the what if you die of old age and you don't move on to another reality?
Yeah.
Who's to say the time we do die,
right,
in this quantum consciousness, in quantum immortality, for lack of a better word, that's when we run out of bodies.
Right.
That's, going into simulation. The universe as we know it is a giant video game. We ran out of lives.
Yeah.
So that's another say. But also to say that the reason why, well, time in itself essentially doesn't matter because it's on a much bigger scale than we are able to process.
Well, time doesn't really exist. Time's only a man-made.
Yes, it does.
You're saying
the concept is linear.
That's what I'm
you're
trying
to talk about is linear. Saying that it's like saying that the river doesn't exist because the fish ended up in the ocean.
Right. Well, no, but when you think about it, right, if you had an empty party space, right, with no planets, nothing, just nothingness, right? What makes the time in that nothingness? What makes the time in that nothingness?
Time is the measurement of change in which the universe performs. It's still there. It just has nothing obstructing it.
Okay. Drew, what's your thoughts? I'm waiting for some.
See, this is why I want to try to get Neil deGrasse Tyson on.
Oh my God. Yeah, definitely. Once again, we're going to fall back in to linear time, linear displacement, things like that. And it's really ironic we're talking about this because the wife and I both sat down last night and watched the latest episode of The Orville. And it was about, time displacement, traveling through time, stuff like that. And you're always going to have time. Even in warp theory, they say that you can only slow down time by moving at the speed of light. But nowhere do they say you can stop time or reverse time.
See, that's I mean, that's interesting because that's weird because I was watching something last night that were talking about flying at the speed of light. It's actually time travel. Because it was the astronauts, when they come back, their clocks would be actually faster. When they come back, it's the same with fighter pilots and stuff. The faster you go, if you were in a ship going at the speed of light, for you, no much time would pass. But for somebody watching you, time would go quite fast.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm trying to say there?
That's done this experiment on twins.
Right. Right. But see, here's the thing. Going back to the Hadron Collider, that's what they're doing, right? They're spinning it round, right? That's what they're doing. They're spinning it and they're spinning it and spinning it and spinning it and spinning it. And it's getting faster and it's getting faster and it's getting faster. And they're finding these new particles. Now, what was it? It was the Higgs boson. That was the first one they found, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That was the first one. Yep. Which is meant to be the building block of the universe, so they say. Right. But they found, and this, since it's been turned on, they found another 3 new, what is it? Was it? I told you earlier, I'll need to look that up. Was it 3 new particles, subtonic particles that they found? That they've actually found.
We expected.
Yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing, right? How did, right, this is the interest bit. How did that machine create the Mandela effect? How did it cause it? What's your thoughts, Dakota? What is your thoughts on this?
Again, I think it's over exaggerated and people wanting to try to sound more intelligent than they actually are 90% of the time. Essentially, this also goes into the idea that the nuclear test back in the 1940s resulted in the Roswell crash. Everything affects the motion. And let's go back to the earlier example of river meets ocean. If something's moving fast enough in the water, everything else is going to feel it around it. Ideally. Then again, you have these UFO craft that seem to go without any obstruction, but that's an entirely different discussion.
Yeah.
But it's right. Let's jump on the Mandela effect, right? Let's just jump on it. Dakota, do you want to show your one first, or will I show one of my pictures first? Now,
Let's show your boring ones first, because
I'll show
mine
my
has a lot more evidence.
Right. me, right. First, I'm going to ask Drew. Drew, what was the color of the A-Team van? What is the color of the A-Team van?
What was the color of what?
The A-Team van. For the younger generation, it was a TV series.
The A-Team van was a black Chevy van with a red stripe that went from the front bumper up to the back, over the fin, and then back down the other side.
Right. I'm going to blow your mind here. This is what they say it looks like, and they say they've never changed they say they've never changed it. This is what it looks like. I can always remember it being black and red. Black with a red stripe. Prepare yourself for this. Here we go. That's what they say it looks like now. Grey, red, and black. It was never like that. But that's my opinion. What do you think, Drew?
I am going to pull up a picture of it as it was in the 80s right now. See.
But that's what I did. That's what I did, and that came up. That's what come up.
I am showing an all black with red stripes. I am showing black and gray.
Yep. But if you go to the series, the TV series, and watch the TV series, that's what you see. You see a grey with a red stripe and black.
Yeah, now I'm seeing an array of pictures here. I'm seeing everything from silver, red, and black to black, red, and gunmetal gray to flat black, red, and metallic black.
Yeah, well, I can clearly look. I'm 40. I'll be 41 in about a month's time, right? I can remember watching that. I'm still a baby compared to this one here, right?
Compared to me,
right?
Well, you ain't talking about me.
I can clearly remember a black van with a red stripe. That's what was on TV. What about the guys in the chat? Guys, any of you old enough to remember the A-Team van? But they've changed it now, even with the new movie. The new A-Team van movie is now grey, red, and black. And if you go back and look, all the old footage, all the programs are all grey, red, and black. I can remember it. Black, red, black. Right? There is something going on. There's something. It's either something's happened to me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe somebody's whacked me over the head or something like that. What's that? There were a few different colours combos for the A-Team van. But I can always remember. See, that's the thing, right? This is going back to me. I can always remember it being black with a red stripe. So maybe I've been placed into this dimension. Maybe this isn't in my real dimension for me. So there you go, red and black. So it makes you wonder. So Dakota, what's yours? Do share.
Oh, mine. I was gonna say some thoughts on this situation. First off, it wouldn't be much for old TVs to distort the colors. And for productions like that, chances are they would have more than one van on standby in case that
they
happened.
destroyed multiple vans. That's the truth, right? That
And
is
this
the
was
truth.
way before anybody gave a shit about continuity, or way before anybody even
It
thought
was like
about
the Dukes of
streaming
Hazzard.
options.
It was like the Dukes
Exactly.
of Hazzard. The Dukes of Hazzard car. Everybody thinks that thing's done millions of jumps. No, and every series they went through about 20 cars. That's what people don't realize. Jumping over bridges and breaking suspension. A car can't survive that unless it's already plated. Even at that, they went through the cars. Yeah, I'd fully admit. But what I'm saying is, me and others that I know, we've all talked about this, and they can only remember it being black and red. Yes, you're saying old TV screens, but you can actually watch repeats now in high quality, but they're grey, red, and black. But I see what you're saying. I see where you're going with this. Right? I see where you're going with this. Obviously, when I watched it, it was the ginormous TV with the wee screen.
Yeah.
Made a buzzing noise, and you had to get up and press the buttons on the side. But there you go.
I don't know what technology was like in Scotland 30 years ago, but here we had a wooden panel TV with like a 16-inch screen. Hell, my monitor's bigger than our old TV screen.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, you didn't see crap on them back then.
But there's a couple of other ones. But I'm going to let Dakota talk about this one because I don't have a clue what it is because I never researched it. But I find it interesting.
You wouldn't think to look at this particular one.
No.
Because I wouldn't take you for a Pokemon guy.
Yeah, that one you go. I'm not a Pokemon guy.
So, first off, let's establish the backstory behind this because this is probably one of the few examples that actually has evidence behind it. And do we have any younger people in here that have played Pokemon so I not feel like I'm surrounded by a bunch of old dudes?
Is there anybody there? Oh dear, I'm an old man.
So there's a website called 4chan that doesn't, I'm going to need to make this note, it does not track your IP. So it leads to a lot of shady shit. There was this one guy who posted on there a little bit of a little contest to draw your favorite Pokemon character from memory without any sort of reference. All of a sudden, this guy posts this blue and yellow blob looking thing, right? I'm going to bring up the picture now. And he swears up and down this was real Pokemon. Now, I haven't played some of the recent generations, but this never came out. Now, obviously, this guy got made fun of because nobody remembered it. However, this is the part where it gets interesting. It would have been 1999 when, in Japan, exclusively, the betas for the Pokemon Gold and Silver games would have come out in test mode for an event there. Only a very select few people would have known about this. And I'm just putting that out there because those beta models didn't get leaked out until the internet until a few years back. People having way too much time on their hands went through the programming and found this image on the left. This was a Pokemon design that never made it into the final game. And someone took the colors from the drawing, applied it to the character model. There's a little too much detail there. This was supposed to be released, but got cut. Maybe it'll be included in newer games. But again, no one should have been able to see this besides anyone inside of Nintendo, who is one of the most secretive companies out there. No one would have seen this at that gaming event back in '99. because it was not available.
That's spooky, that.
Exactly. So how did this guy know? And because that website doesn't track their users, there's no way to find out if he happened to work at Nintendo at the time.
That is a good one, by the way. See when you showed us that, I didn't even know that was Pokemon. That just shows you what I know about Pokemon.
Well, that was
I've seen
never
the movie, which was
released.
rubbish, but
The video
Well-
that brought this to my attention is there's a link to it in the description if anybody wants to check it out. But nevertheless, there's evidence to it.
Back here a couple years ago, when I was still, trying to drop the weight, everything after, the diabetes thing hit, I used to play Pokemon Go. And every place we went, I had my phone, I had it turned on, and I was hunting Pokemon. And I wish that game actually showed you all the available Pokemon that were out there. There's 600 some odd Pokemon in that game, but they only show you like 60 or 70 as you break each level point. That's one of the reasons why yes.
Yeah, that's the 890 official Pokemon now, but that particular one was never officially released to the public.
I must have lived in a cave because I never played it. I'll admit that. I never played it, but I find that quite spooky. That actually, I do find that spooky.
Exactly.
It's a very interesting one. That I'm going to look more into that because that's actually.
Because the only way he would have known that thing existed is if he happened to work at Nintendo. That's the only way.
Wow.
That is strange. I mean, what was it? There's Dobie Shock. What was that? When I was a kid, it was Andy Pandy and the Wooden Tops. There you go. I mean, there's that many. There's the Ford badge, right? I can always remember the Ford badge had a wee. Was it a pigtail it had? But there's people out there that say it didn't have that. But then there's people that say that they did have it. And Ford said they never changed it. But here's another one that I didn't want to bring up the picture because I don't know if it'd be copyrighted or not. Andy here's a Star Wars fan? You're a Star Wars fan, Dakota?
Not really, but I know what one you're talking about.
I'm not talking about Darth Vader when he says, "Look, I am your father." I'm not talking about that one. It's another one. 3PO. What color was it?
Gold with the silver leg.
Right. That's what you remember. But I can clearly remember, me again, obviously. Does anybody in the chat remember 3PO all gold, not with a silver leg? What about you, Drew? What do you remember 3PO like?
Well, I did grow up a big Star Wars fan. I was like 9 years old when the originals came out, and I remember 3PO being, well, at least on the toy form, I remember him being all gold. In the movies, only a few times could you actually see that his leg was silver. If you remember right, they only shot his full body a few times.
That's
Mostly
right.
it was from the pelvis up.
And I will say about video quality then and now. Obviously, it's a lot better with 4K and 8K and such. But I had, and I wish I still had it, I had the full set of characters. And they were the right ones. And I wish I'd kept them because they'd be worth a fortune. They were just that. But I had the 3PO one, and it was all gold. Right? And I actually looked up and they never changed it. They said they've never changed 3PO. Maybe, I don't know if it was a manufacturing error. But I can remember when I was young, just a kid, watching Star Wars, and I can remember him being all gold. But you see, this is the thing. Maybe I've come into this reality. Maybe Drew's for this reality, Dakota's from this reality, but I'm not for this reality. See where I'm trying to go here, guys? It's like people in the chat. Which it's like we've all swapped different realms. What's that in the chat there? Hey, Mike. Good to see you, my friend. See, there you go. There's Mike, the naked Bigfoot, right? He remembers him being all gold. Which is an interesting one because there's a lot of people do the Mandela effect on YouTube, as we know, and a lot of people are convinced, older people, that he was all gold. He didn't have a silver leg.
I think in the newer versions they released here about a decade ago or a little longer. I think in those the remasters, I believe they showed him actually having that silver leg because they updated their all their effects and the technology, of course, in the last 40 plus years. But I believe in the remastered ones, you actually can tell that leg is silver. I've not watched them in a while, so I honestly don't remember.
Well, every time I watch them now, or the remastered ones in 4K, he's got a silver leg. But I can always remember him being all gold. Always. And that's the thing. I might not be for this reality. Maybe a part of me has been changed. That's the thing. It's my perception. See, there's Mike. He can remember him being all gold. But maybe it was the video quality at the time. Maybe it was the TV quality at the time. Dakota?
The only other thing that I had to go for, you try to use the example, maybe I'm from this reality. You also got to remember, I would have came around right as those would start getting remastered compared to 40 years ago.
That's the problem. Yeah.
So, being that there's hardly any shots full body in the earlier films, your mind would have just likely filled in the blank. You would have thought, oh, if he's gold up here, chances are he's gold down there, type thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually looking at a picture here from, do we have a date here? Do we have a date? I think this is from one of the remakes, possibly 2015 is the when this picture was put on the internet, and it shows C-3PO and R2-D2 standing side by side on Tatooine, and his lower right leg from the knee down, the knee joint all the way down to his foot is silver, and everything else is gold. But if you go back and you look at where's it at? Wookie. I gotta type this out. Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. I didn't know there was such a thing, but there you go.
Oh,
wow.
Shit. Hold on.
Wow, I need to look that place up. Wikipedia.
Oh, that just sounded like you found something dirty.
Well, there you go. You'll be able to put it on their Bald Bonkers online store.
Oh, you just love the Marbury collection, don't you?
Yeah, if you look on Wikipedia, it shows him being all gold. So again, did they do that by accident? Did they purposely change that?
I'll need to look that one up because it's always that's been one of the top myths that he was all gold, and then one day he has a silver leg. There's that many. I mean, there's what is it? The Bernstein Bears. That's an interesting one. I don't really know that much about that one. I've heard about it. It's more an American book. That it's not a really British book. It's Bernstein Bears. But then there's the Kennedy one, which I showed to Wendy. I knew a friend of mine. He's actually dead now, but he was in his 80s, and I says to him, I says, "Can you remember the Kennedy assassination?" "Oh, I remember it clear." And actually, and he told us what it was like. He says that the car came down the street, President Kennedy, his wife, the bodyguard, and the driver. Right? But that's not what reality says. The reality says it was President Kennedy, his wife, and was it the governor and his wife, and the bodyguard, and the driver, which is. Tell us what you think, guys. Can you remember it being a 4-seater, or can you remember it being a 6-seater? What's your opinion? What do you think it is, guys? Because I remember at the school, and this is going back to the early 1996. I remember researching this, and I can clearly remember there was only 4 people in the car. And now it's changed. Ever since our friends at the Hadron Collider have had playtime. Which I find very strange. What's your thoughts on that, Drew? On the Kennedy
I'm
assassination?
actually sitting here right now looking at all the photos. And from one angle, it does look like there's only 4 people in the car, but it was actually a 4-door stretch.
Yes.
So you had the guard, the bodyguard, and the driver up front, and then directly behind them, behind the center bar, is 2 more seats, and they are facing forward also, and then behind them, behind the back door, is where Jackie Kennedy and John were sitting at. But from the other angle, where he is right before he's shot, they actually show him looking out the passenger side and smiling at people with his arm up on the side of the quarter panel. And it only looks like there's 4 seats there.
Yeah.
So what's my views on the Kennedy assassination? Well, I don't care to disappear anytime soon, so I'm going to keep my opinions to myself on that one.
It'll be fine. That'll be fine.
I think the magic
Oswald
bullet
was a fan, man.
I think the magic bullet was the most incredible engineering feat by modern man. And anytime I say anytime the government wants to spend the money producing bullets that weave and dodge and change their angle and everything, I say go for it, man. It's going to come in really, really handy.
Yeah. We may actually do a show on that one night, because that's actually a really interesting subject. Because the bullet had a life of its own.
They have bullets like that now.
Smart bullets.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, guns that shoot around corners and stuff like that. Because they use cameras and stuff. But they didn't have that then, did they? But they said they had the rifle.
They do.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. So what other Mandela effects do you have, Dakota?
I just had the Pokemon one.
Oh.
Because that was the most convincing one.
That's very true. That's very true. So anybody in the chat tonight, what's your opinion, guys, on the Mandela effect? And people are probably wondering, why is it called the Mandela effect? Because a lot of people think Nelson Mandela died in prison. I don't know. I can remember him getting out. There was the protests and he got out. But I've met people that were convinced he died in that cell.
Oh, here's another one. Shazam.
Okay. Shazam, that's that.
The Genie movie by Sinbad.
Yeah.
And here's one thing, and I just thought of this because I was thinking around on TikTok, and somebody was convinced that an interview with Sinbad was him confessing that they pulled all the tapes. When you got to remember, the man's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
He ain't afraid to fuck with people's heads.
Yeah.
Oh, Pillsbury Doughboy and the color of his handkerchief. Nice.
Right.
What about it?
That's it.
I thought it was all white.
It's all white, is it though?
I was about to say. When did it? Man, it was like, we need
See,
some younger people in here. I feel like I'm surrounded by a bunch of old farts.
What
I
do
feel
you
like
mean?
I'm in a child. I feel like
What
I'm in
do
a
you
child
mean?
trafficking ring. What the hell?
Aye, but there's only one problem with that, Dakota. I mean, honestly, let's have a game in the chat. What age do you think Dakota is? Everybody, put the ages down below. You can get me back, Everton. You can guess what age I am today, but you'll probably get that wrong. I'm melting.
39, turning 40 in September.
No, I'm not 39. Who said I was 39?
I'm looking at the Doughboy right now, and I'm seeing all white except for his eyes and the little Pillsbury thing in the center of his hat being blue. Other than
that's the thing. See, that's the thing. We all have different memories. That is the thing.
Well, didn't they?
There's some Pillsbury dough. There's the Pillsbury Doughboy salt and pepper shakers where his handkerchief is blue.
Aye.
Right.
See, what's that? Adobe Sock here in the UK. We can use crossbows and what's that? Catapults, no guns, but the people hold. You turn into Robin Hood. There, Dobby, riding through the glen.
More like Geralt from The Walking Dead.
Flinging him over the wall.
There's mittens. It's blue, right? But that's the thing. That's what Mittens remembers. It was blue. But we remember it being white. I mean, the Monopoly Man was the biggest one for me. Monopoly Man. With his monocle. What's your thought? You ever played Monopoly, Drew? Come on, don't say you've not played Monopoly.
Monopoly. That used to be one of my family when I was growing up. That was one of those games that my mom and sister and I used to sit down and try to play at least a couple times a month.
Did the Monopoly Man have a monocle? Did I bring up a picture?
I don't know. I know Mr. Peanut did, but I don't remember. I don't remember whether or not the Monopoly guy did.
I can remember the Monopoly Man having a monocle, but then it's just my opinion again.
Well, see, there's one picture showing a monocle and one picture not showing one.
Nah, but the people that make Monopoly have always said that he never had a monocle. There've never been any proof out there that he had a monocle. But, as I say, me and others can remember him wearing a monocle.
Oh, come on. He was rich in the 40s. Everybody wore a monocle back then that had money.
Yeah.
One posh prick.
Oh, yes. And if there's any posh people listening to this tonight and you're a multi-millionaire, don't mind Dakota. We can easily replace him if you want to make a large donation.
Just make a large donation and I'll zip my lip.
You know?
Yeah, he's just jealous because he wants to have a reason to wear a monocle. Just walking around with one and being broke just doesn't. It just doesn't have the same effect on people.
Right,
people got scared when I started happened to wear an eye patch.
There's the Smith family paranormal. Never had a monocle, but I beg to differ because I used to play Monopoly a lot, and I can remember him with a monocle. Damn, I wished I'd kept that.
I think there was some online games that had him. He had a monocle, but as regularly wearing it on the logo, no.
But this right. Look, this is going back to I used to play Monopoly when I started playing it when I was about 7 or 8, and I was born in 1981. Didn't have the internet, right? So we didn't have Sky TV. We didn't have any computers. Right? I'm old. I know. That's what life is. Yes, PWI investors. You know, you'll be here one day, Dakota. You'll be here. What's that, Drew?
Now, what about the fact that, and I've noticed this a lot more since I grew up and had access to, the internet, and I could look at things from other parts of the world. When they released versions of certain things, be it packaging for certain foods or product or whatever, in Europe, they released an altered version.
Yes.
There, other than what it was in America. Look at
yes,
modern day. Look at the grocery store Aldi's.
Yes.
Aldi's in America, the sign is blue and white. In Europe, it's red and white.
Look at right. I can spawn off multiple candy bars. Here you have bars called Lion bars, right? But in the United States, they're exactly the same thing, but they're called Klondike bars, right? There's candy over here called Polo Mints, right? But they're exactly the same thing in the United States. They're called Lifesavers.
Actually, that just made me think of something. A discussion Chris and I had the other night. Drew, help me be the deciding vote here.
Okay.
The belt in your car that helps run AC, coolant fluid through the car. What would you call that? It helps run the fluid through the car. If it snaps, it's a bitch.
Yeah, you're just talking about the regular they call some places call it an AC belt, some places call it a drive belt or a timing belt or timing chain or.
So what was that you called it, Dakota? Can I say?
It's called a serpentine belt over here, and that's what pulls up when you fucking Google it, you dickhead.
See that's I blame
shut the fuck up.
I blame the Mandela effect or the mad hypocrisy of the American society for changing its name.
Some American cars have a serpentine belt. Some American cars have multiple belts that's all ran by that drive belt.
But my car has a timing chain which is inside the engine, right? But in the outside, I've got a power steering pump, I've got an air conditioning pump, and I've got an alternator, which is drove from the engine with a drive belt. And I just changed it. That's what that powers. We call them, that's what it's called. They used to be called fan belts, but fans are electric now. They're not drove by, what do you call it? They're drove by electric motors. Long ago, it used to be the engine that cooled itself down, right? But serpentine belt, there you go, the Smith family. Wrong. I am wrong. I'll admit that.
I was about to say, this conversation came up because I was out driving, taking care of some errands, and as I was parked somewhere, dropping off a package to get sent up by FedEx, as I'm walking away from the car, my fucking serpentine belt snaps underneath the hood. Thankfully, I was just a walking distance from an auto parts store so I can get it fixed. I come home, I was having issues because I didn't realize I grabbed the wrong fucking belt. And this one was more concerned about the fact that I called it a weird name than I was possibly sunstruck. So you heartless prick.
We are talking. Look. You have to admit, guys, and I'm probably outnumbered here because there's probably more Americans on here than British people. But you do like to change the name of things, and this is coming into the Mandela effect and stuff. You are awful bad at changing the name of things.
There we go.
Like, take a British car, for instance. British car, you'll have the bit where you lift up to look at the engine. We call that the bonnet. The bonnet, but you call it the hood. Right. These have got strange names, like the boot. you open to put your shopping in, right? We call it the boot, right? Where you put stuff in. You call it the trunk, right? Yes, I'll admit, you just like to change things, strange things.
There we go.
There you go. So what's happening,
Chris?
There's a segue.
Hey, Chris, when you go into a grocery store to buy food and you grab one of those big wire things with wheels on it, what are they called?
Oh, yeah.
Shopping cart. A shopping cart. A trolley. A shopping
There
trolley.
you go.
I've heard them called a trolley. I've heard them called a car.
No, we call them trolleys. A shopping trolley.
Yep, here they're a shopping cart.
Dear. Now we're going off the subject.
But then again, I have said for years, American English is a bastardized version of about 15 different languages.
You've got to remember the United
That's
States.
why we have 20 words that all mean one thing.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to remember, there's going to be people watching this and listening to this tonight going, the Americans are Americans. No, the Americans are made up of English people, Irish people, Scottish people, French people. Because look, Louisiana, for instance, there's a lot of French people living in the swampland. Think of it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, they have got another bloody name for that day. Wouldn't it surprise me?
No. Well, here's the thing. You got to be careful because here in the States, to go with what Drew's talking about, and I promise this does fit into the conversation. Okay?
Here we go.
There we go. You got sandals, flip-flops, okay? Stuff like this.
Yes, we call them flip-flops too.
We call them thongs. Like we also call the part of women's underwear that, why doesn't it whistle when they fart?
It's like in the United Kingdom would we call pants underwear, where you call them trousers.
That's true. Now, who's to say that the Mandela effect isn't a factor? Drew's face is
like froze there, like in a strange pose. He's like,
think about it this way. Now, everybody here that knows me knows I am of Scottish descent. So I spent a lot of my adult life studying Scottish, studying Gaelic, studying Scotland. Hey, Chris.
Yes.
One thing I realized in America, if you kiss somebody's fanny, it could be a shitty situation. In Scotland, when you kiss somebody's fanny, it could be a good time.
Oh, yeah, God, dear Jesus, just help me, please, Lord, help me.
Oh my God.
It's like smoking cigarettes.
Now, in Scotland, I wouldn't mind kissing somebody's fanny, especially someone, like 110-pound redhead. However, in America, you don't want to kiss anybody's fanny because,
unless you're into that, but.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen of the UK, British and UK Empire, displaying these reverse it.
I'm down here.
I know.
I see you doing this, Brenda.
It's you got to remember. I think a lot of the Mandela effect. There is Mandela effects that's very spooky and very strange, right? But I do think some of the other ones are misinterpreted, right? There is a few that's misinterpreted, right? Sure. But I still say the Monopoly Man. That's still one that's puzzles me. What's that? Mittens.
There's one that just came to mind. I can't remember the name of the show because it was before my time, but it was about anamorphic sharks. And I'm hoping somebody can tell me the name. I'll remember it if I see it. Basically, this was an article about a gentleman who accidentally created a Mandela effect.
Right.
They used to run a wiki page, and this was before Wikipedia was really a thing, and there was community checks. And just for shits and giggles, he created a pink girl shark character. And all of a sudden, everybody started saying they remembered seeing the shark in the show. There was never a girl shark character in this show.
That's very interesting. That is very interesting. That is. I'm good.
What's an anamorphic shark?
That's a question.
Think like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but with sharks.
I remember that cartoon.
Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, the anamorphic shark one with the shark, the shark creatures.
I can't remember that, but using American, obviously, it's more an American thing again. It's like Smith Family Paranormal. What do you mean? It's like Smith Family Paranormal. What do you call potato chips? As I would say, we call them crisps, as they're crispy.
Street sharks, yes.
Crispy.
Yep.
Street sharks. I can't remember.
Thank you, Raymond.
That's it.
But yeah, an American program.
Well, again, that one would have come out before I was even born. So,
you get away your age here. You'll be too young.
Yeah,
that's actually.
I'm only 26.
That's actually a really good point, Smith family, because that's one thing that really confused the hell out of me when I was trying to. Because see, my wife and I, she wants to go. She wants to take me back to Scotland, but she wants to wait until our daughter goes to college or moves out and gets married because she knows I won't want to come back. And so, while me studying Scottish words for things, that really threw me off because I saw fish and chips the first time, and I'm thinking like, well, who wants to eat potato chips with fish? And then I realized, oh wait, their chips are French fries. Their potato chips are crisps.
Yeah. It's like Smith Family Paranormal says cookies. Well, we call cookies, but we've got other things and we call them biscuits. Cookies are like chocolate chip cookies or chocolate chip nut cookies are called cookies, but we do have things called biscuits. I should really put my posh voice on for this one.
Yeah. Here's a good one. When you say use rubber, Chris, what do you think of?
Yeah. What?
What do you? Oh, no, wait. I ask you. No,
you asked me that.
What would be a rubber? A use for a rubber?
Oh, there's multiple names for it. There's multiple names. One of them's Johnny's. One of them's condoms, but that's it. Well, there's other names there, but I'm not saying that.
Well, I've heard anytime I've heard a British person say use a rubber, they're talking about a fucking pencil eraser.
Yeah. But that's how we perceive things.
But then again, I guess if the condom is used appropriately, it does erase a couple of things. But that's
the thing. If you had to show a pencil rubber, right, to me, I would probably call it an eraser. Because that's what it is. It's an eraser. You get the ones over here, you get the black, you get the blue and the red ones joined together, one for pen, one for pencil, and they're called erasers. What's that? Bridies and pasties. That's an interesting one.
I didn't realize they were called bridies.
Really? Come on, give some American things, and I'll tell you what they're called. And this is quite good. This one because near the end of the show, just tell us some American stuff, and I'll tell you what they're called.
Oh, good.
Come on.
I can't think of one besides the obvious, and that's an elevator.
A lift.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny when I went on my Scotland trip. We passed through London Heathrow for a layover. They had to have American to UK English translation.
Yes, because some of you are not fluent in the.
We had to get it from somewhere.
What do you mean? Look! I'm going to get into this mad favarkle again. Where would you be without Scotland? We invented everything.
A lot less liver issue.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that with whiskey, penicillin, telephone,
Golf.
you name it. Golf. I can't spawn that sport, man. I don't know how folk can do that, play that, whacking a wee white ball about a field. You know?
I would rather watch flies.
Braces. Well, we call them braces.
Why do I get the feeling that was supposed to lead somewhere?
I want to know. I want to know how Scotland, and maybe Chris can answer that. Maybe Dobby can answer it. I don't know.
Scotland, I don't know.
How could Scotland be the murder capital of the world if nobody owns guns?
Don't need guns to kill someone.
I don't think Scotland's the murder capital.
You're going to beat them with a haggis?
Where did you
learn
that?
On a haggis will do it.
Well, I'll tell you, the haggis is a strange creature and very difficult to catch, you know.
I love haggis. We were talking about haggis earlier in the chat, and I've had real haggis once in my life, only because most of the ingredients of haggis, real haggis, is outlawed and not considered food here.
Yes. You can. I was going to send a tin of haggis to the United States to a friend, but it was turned back at the post station because it's illegal to send it because it's got everything in it: sheep's stomach, barley, oats. It's got blooming heart. It's got absolutely everything in it. In America, it's classed as an illegal food.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got
now. I make an American haggis here at home a lot of times, and the family loves it. But I can't see my wife and daughter sitting down eating, anything stuffed inside a sheep's stomach and boiled. But here I use chunks of beef. I use ground beef. I use sausage. Mm-hmm. I use chicken. I put oats, different vegetables and spices inside of a boiling bag. Mm-hmm. And basically make a boiled meatloaf out of it.
There is another thing that we hear, and it's awfully good, but it's more an English kind of thing, is black pudding.
Oh, I know. Black pudding or blood pudding.
Yeah, because that's what it is. It's pig's blood with oats and barley and stuff like that. Boiled. You're making me hungry.
I know. Good thing I'm having dinner after this.
I know. I should say I'm making me hungry, and thank God my wife finished dinner about 20 minutes ago. So
there you go. So Dakota, do you have any announcements to make? Do you have anything to say to the amazing audience and the amazing listeners of the podcast?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have some upsetting news.
What's that?
We may have to celebrate quite well because we now have a brand new affiliate program in our store for those who would like to earn a little extra cash. You can sign up to this, become a member of All the Bonkers, get your YouTube channel. I can't fucking talk.
That's it. It's the Mandela effect. Turn that up to full power.
Got it. Anyway.
Oh yeah, suddenly you have an afro appear in his head.
Can I get my Pleiadian locks back, please? Anyway, I just posted the link in the chat. If you would like to earn a little extra money and check out our huge line of merch, I think we have a catalog of over 4,000 items in our store now. We have ghost hunting equipment. We have books. We have fashion for you ladies, and don't worry.
Oh, yes, definitely is fashion.
Let me finish. Don't worry, ladies. If you're a little extra curvy, we got you covered because big girls need some love too.
Sometimes I wonder. I really do wonder about Dakota ladies.
The one that wanted me to run this bitch.
Yeah, that's very true because obviously it's like putting me in command.
Check out our Bald and Boobies intimate apparel section.
Exactly. We have our lingerie collection. We have swimsuits, all sorts of fun stuff. Sherry was way too excited to see all that.
Mm-hmm. And
we have thongs.
Yeah, and we've got a new model for the thongs. We'll be
We,
starring in some of the catalogs soon.
We're actually discussing a line of adult toys. Some of them are smooth on top, and some of them just have a ring of hair that go around them.
Thank God we have the
Honestly.
viewer discretion advised warning now.
We are talking about bringing we are talking about bringing out our own moisturizer line. What's it called?
Oh yeah, in honor of Dave Schrader,
yes.
What about mankinis? We got those too.
Mm.
In honor of Dave Schrader, I'm in the middle of myself. Sorry. No. God damn it. Women.
They maybe want to see the catalog.
I hope not. That's my sister. Anyway, what was I saying?
You were talking about
something about Dave Schrader.
Yeah, Dave Schrader, and it was the moisturizer.
We now have the McRubbin underwear line, highly requested at Christopher.
Yeah,
and he is also wanting McRubbin moisturizer. If you're wondering where we got that reference, go back and watch that episode. That I'm shocked even happened.
Yeah,
it made me cry a little bit, but it's okay. Men can cry too.
Yeah, I know.
I want to know, when it comes to the thongs, are they American thongs or are they European thongs? I mean, which fanny does the little string go up?
They are American, and we even have one that says "Ghost Hunters Like It Free."
There you go. You got a pair, Drew. You can march over the glens.
I would
Highlands,
wear those. I would sport them puppies in an investigation.
I don't know what would be worse: a succubus jumping out a cupboard, or you marching into the room wearing them.
Oh, can we get that guy out who's watching us through Twitch to stop obsessing over the succubus? We're not going to do that.
I mean, but if you want to buy thongs or anything else, please visit the website.
Yeah. You can also become an affiliate. If you have a YouTube channel, we can feature you on the Bald and Bonkers TV network. Which, by the way, Drew, I sent you a link to your channel through Facebook Messenger, so you can check that out finally.
Well, actually,
now, do our videos that we post on YouTube, do they automatically go straight on there as long as we've got them clicked to? So all we do is upload them on YouTube, and they automatically upload to the Bald and Bonkers site.
I wish. No, I got to physically go in and add the videos as we go. But as long as you have the embedding turned on, we can definitely. Oh dear God, Dobby.
No, Dobby. Well, actually, what we were.
I'm modeling one of the shirts right now.
No, I was actually thinking, Mike. I was thinking, Mike, the Naked Bigfoot. Are you there? We want you to model a thong for us. We want you to be the new model for Bald and Bonkers. We need you, Mike. We need you to march over those hills of West Virginia in the search for Bigfoot wearing Bald and Bonkers thongs.
Which does remind me, we do have some discussions for some big brand partnerships, which I'm not going to go into fully yet. Chris knows a little bit about what's going on, but we're still ironing out the paperwork. But a lot of amazing stuff is coming. Be sure to check us out, baldandbonkers.net. It'll help you find links to all the rest of the fun stuff. The store's constantly getting new stuff added. And if there's something we can't find for the store, we are an Amazon affiliate, so we can refer. Oh dear God!
Honestly,
ladies and gentlemen, this is why you need to come to the live shows, because whenever we veer off like that, it's usually because someone made a smart ass remark in the chat.
Yeah. I mean, what's that? Smith Family were on Amazon. I'm not even going to read that other one.
We do have an Amazon affiliate program with us, so we can recommend you stuff through Amazon at no extra cost to you. Don't apologize, Smith Family.
No, God, don't apologize.
We're Bald and Bonkers for a reason. If anybody gets offended, well,
That's why it goes out to the podcast. You know, we're getting thousands of views on the podcast. The YouTube's not the best, but the podcast is better. But hey, you know what? I talk about our guests next Saturday, Dakota.
Oh, who do we have next Saturday?
We have the pet medium and Lisa Fry.
Our dear friend Lisa is back, and she is bringing along a pet psychic. And what was her name again?
I don't know because I gave it to you.
You mother.
It's terrible. I just don't know. Give me 1 moment here.
You wonder why women get pissed off at you. You are nowhere near a gentleman. The least you can do. You're wanting me to hook you up with all these women. The least you can do is try to remember their names, besides the ones that have the French accent. And Drew's giving us head. Wow.
Just a little head.
Honestly.
Well, at your age, I imagine there's not much flowing.
Let me check this. You've no added it to the thing. I was waiting to check the live out there to see if you've added the name, but I can't seem to see it. It's terrible. Info coming soon. That's terrible. I'll get it after for you. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to dig through your fucking messages since you
see, guys. This is the problem. This is the problem when you have.
I can't even get you to get me the guest information. Any of their links? No, I gotta physically
information.
Go
I sent it all over to you.
Oh my fucking god! And there's only a limit to how far ahead we can schedule shit because of social media rules. That's not on me. That's you.
And this is why I always say, at what point did we lose control?
I believe at about 55-minute mark is when we really start running off.
Sunday. It's Sunday, and that's it. You know, Sunday, and but there you go. It's Sunday. What can I say? Well, actually, at least we're getting more views. It used to only be like 2 in the chat or something like that for some weird reason. And remember, please, ladies and gentlemen, the news will come out about who is on next Saturday with Lisa, because I gave it to Dakota, so I'll just need to search through his messages there, or I'll search through them and find them for him. What was I going to say? I was going to say something else. But what was I going to say? I totally forgot. I've had a brain freeze again. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Getting old and decrepit and forgetful.
I'm already like this when I'm 26. I'm screwed when I'm old.
Oh God! When I'm 149, I'm going to be some state. You know.
Bald Bonkers is brought to you tonight by Jergens Head Wax. Use your imagination.
Yes. That's a good point. We should email some of the people at Head Polish, you know, maybe make something for that.
Well, I don't know. Dr. Squatch were the ones in communication to possibly work with. So if you can't trust big hairy men, well, wait.
When have we got a contract with them yet? Have we got?
We are actually in talks with Dr. Squatch for something.
That would be cool. I like Dr. Squatch.
I've never tried Dr. Squatch.
It's good shit, and think about it.
More
Dr.
like
Squatch, think about this.
Is it Admiral for the human body?
We deal with cryptozoology. We deal with, I know, God. Seriously, where did we lose control? I'm going to have to start including a therapy plan for future employment.
Actually, Smith family, if you remember back to the original Turtles movie, it was turtle wax they were using on
Oh God.
Yep, turtle wax. There you go.
Yeah. Dear God, help us all. Help us all. You know.
All right, I got to look for therapy for you people.
Well, I think the Smith family paranormal definitely need the therapy. I definitely think you need therapy. You know, but you're actually in luck. We've actually got a therapist. His name's Dr. Drew Ellingsworth. He doesn't charge much, so we'll be sending you around to his location.
I want to know at what point in time I sprouted an ING in my name.
I'm still trying to figure out how the hell my last name became Ferguson.
Is it no Franson?
It's Franson, not Ferguson.
Yeah, it's Franson, the girl's name.
And mine's Ellsworth.
It's not Ellingsworth.
Oh, mine's Mole. So it's Moule. It's no Mule. Everybody keeps pronouncing my names. Even when I go to the bank and that, it say it was to pronounce my name Mule.
But then you got to say the original pronunciation is Mule. So how are we supposed to?
Because I like it. Because I like it. I like getting called Mole. I like getting called Mole. That's
a furry little rat that buries in the ground. I guess it's better than console.
Yeah, I'm starting to say that's a mole, MOLE.
Yeah, you're rather a little rat that buries into the dirt than you called a jackass. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
At least I'm not called Franson, you know, girl's name. You know. What's that? Raymond G Newsroom. The original Turtles didn't have different coloured bandanas. Oh, the Mandela effect strikes again.
Printing issues.
Yep, the original Turtles all wore brown bandanas around their eyes, and they all wore brown belts and bandoliers.
So there you go.
Just don't use Nair on your head. My mother actually recommended that.
Oh, God, don't do it. I did it one time, burnt the shit out of myself.
Yeah, that's why one of my exes recommended I use the bikini wax version. More sensitive.
Would you polish your head of that, Dakota? Do you have like a shining schedule? You know,
No.
see, I've still got some hair left, which keeps the sun rays off. You know, beeswax. You see, when you get the old car polisher out. You know.
No, I don't shine my crystal ball.
You know, Dakota, just for the shits and giggles of it, man. Sometime you need to be walking through town. And go up to like a master or something and turn like you're going to open the door and then just stop for a second and shake your head and turn around and walk away. See how many of them bust out laughing.
Wow. Drew, can I ask you a question? What do you have anything planned for this week, Drew? Any shows this week you want people to check out?
I'm actually releasing a video tomorrow on Sasquatch. No, wait, I changed that. It is not on Sasquatch.
I hope something.
But I've got one coming out tomorrow, probably 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm working on a collaboration video with Santee from Arizona Ghostwriters. If anybody here is familiar at all with his channel, he has a ghost that pops up in a lot of his videos named Bill Brazelton. I'm going to try to be like the first person to ever interview a ghost live on stream.
Interesting.
Let me see here. What else we got coming up? We have got we've got 4 big investigations coming up this month. We just got the confirmation tonight that a place we've been trying to get into for 7 months. They contacted me, said, please come. We have had a buttload of stuff happen here recently, and we need you to come. They had a group come in February, and they done an investigation only in the basement of this business. And it riled whatever's there so much that it affected the couple that owns the place for 2 weeks afterwards. And in the last week, they have lost their walk-in cooler. They've lost their beer cooler under the bar. They have lost their pizza oven. They have lost the steaming table for their buffet and like 4 or 5 other things. And they said, we need you to come. Try to calm them down, help us try to get rid of it, whatever the case may be. That one's going to be coming up the end of the month. But we have a historic village coming up next week. We have got the oldest cemetery in South Bend, Indiana. It's taken us a lot of red tape to get in this place.
That'll be nice.
There are graves there older than the state of Indiana.
That'll be
So
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, we're going to be busy for the rest of the month. As for the streams, Mondays and Fridays, morning and evening, 7 or 8 o'clock a.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. Just going to have to check in and look and see what's coming up with us, because I never know from day to day, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Well, I think tonight's been a fantastic night. So, Dakota, what else is we've got? Sherry's coming back next Friday, isn't she?
Well, we'll see how that goes. You know how Sherry could be.
Sherry's a busy bumblebee. You know?
Yeah.
Sherry's very busy. I don't know how she does it.
I don't know if she
sometimes.
does it either. Honestly,
I don't know how she still has hair.
I know. See, that's that. She need to join the Golden Bonkers. All the hair to fall out. You know. the joy of doing live streaming, guys. It's just amazing, you know. But thank you everybody for coming tonight, and we'll see you next Saturday for the Pet Psychic. If you've got any questions or anything for anyone, if you've lost a loved pet, or obviously cat, dog, or hamster, we'll see if we can maybe get her to maybe give a couple of years, maybe a wee reading or something, you know. What's that, Dakota? You're like doing a dance there?
No, that just reminded me of a dirty joke when you said hamster.
It's not something for the shop, is it?
Not a gerbil
No,
joke.
I think it would get us flagged by Family Feud, but that's about it.
Yeah. So, Drew, thank you for coming on, and have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you all next week. And could you please check out the online store where you can see amazing things that Dakota has done. Check out the links too for the website, because that's awesome too. So, guys, catch you all later. Have a great week. Be safe in that hot weather too, because it's sunstroke and that. And watch the road too, because it's very, very dangerous in the hot weather. Take care, guys, and catch you all later.
Later.
Take care.